In this video, I'm going to talk about important principles for designing your management system. So what should we care about when we're designing, improving, shaping that management system? Now, let me say first, you should have your own principles. Right? Think about what's important to you in design. But I'm going to give you some generic ones, some important ones, some well-tested ones that hopefully give you a starting point for the principles you can use as you shape, improve, or design your management system. So the first, and in a lot of ways the only, is that the work and the people who do the work are the true customer of your management system. Now that doesn't mean they're the user. In a lot of cases it will be management, senior management, that is using the management system, but for whose benefit? Well, the work has to benefit. We have to make the work work. We have to make it smooth and effective and deliver the right results. That's the customer. And the people who do the work, who are just trying to be successful, do they have what they need? Everything from the direction they need to the capabilities they need to the input they need. Are there barriers in their way? If we make sure that as we're taking action with the management system, that the work and the people who do the work benefit, then it's very hard to go terribly wrong with your management system. The second design principle is actually sort of seems like a trade-off, but it's really an and. And that is we want our management system to be both dynamic and stable. Now, how can we have both at the same time? Well, we want it stable enough so that it doesn't jerk around and change our focus like it's as distracted as we can sometimes be. It has to maintain that stability of what did we think was important? What is going on? What do we need to be paying attention to? But it also has to be dynamic where it keeps up with real changes in what's important, real changes in new threats, new problems, new challenges that we face. So we want enough stability that it's actually holding us true on course to where we're headed, but dynamic enough where if we change direction, change desire, or have new threats and impacts from around us, that it can accommodate those factors. So the second principle, we want it dynamic and stable at the same time. The third is essentially how it feels to use it. So three separate words, but sort of treated all as one principle because many of the changes you will make achieve all three at the same time. And that is transparency, cadence, and granularity. We need enough granularity that we can see the changes. If you're trying to aim at a target that's 100 yards away, but your fidelity is 100 yards to click, to left or right, there's no way you can adjust to hit a target. You need enough granularity that you can see problems while they're small, understand and react as needed. You need the same thing with cadence. You need a frequent enough touch point without being wasteful that you can actually catch the variation that exists. If you're trying to deliver pizzas on a Friday night, you can't check in on a Wednesday. You have to understand what's going on that night. And transparency, we need to see it. We need to see the right stuff. We can't have information, data, status hidden. Right? So we need to be able to see what's going on. Now the next three principles are ones that I have sort of different words for, but I'm going to adopt words from Steve Spear's book, Wiring the Winning Organization. I like the words he uses, even though the principles that I'm going to share are ones that many of us have used for quite a long time. The first is an interesting word, and is slowification. Now, many of you might have read the book Thinking Fast and Slow. It's a book from Daniel Kahneman that we should all probably read. And it's really understanding what are things that we can have on autopilot, and what are things that we need to really slow down and think about. Well, our management system should help us slow down for the right things. Slow down when we have to do real problem solving, real investigation, new decisions, changes in directions. but be fast when all of those things are okay to take for granted, okay to assume, and okay to operate with. So we want our management system to help us slow down in the right places at the right time. And when we do that, we know we're going to bring the best of our talent, both individually and collectively, to the important challenges and the important problems. Next is simplification. Now, simplification can mean a lot of things. Some of it is just we have too much waste in our management system. But here, and it kind of relates to granularity, but can we operate closer to the problem? Can we find smaller problems and solve them at a more specific level? Well, to do that, we need a management system that is closer to the problem itself, and that the first response is really close, the first layer of management, even if it's within the team. So simplification helps make sure that the response, we don't have to go up 5 levels and find a macro problem when the information was available to solve a micro problem right there. So we get simplification, we can solve those small problems where they need attention. And then next is amplification. What this is about making problems more obvious earlier. Now, a phrase I've used in the same term is to make your process more fragile, which seems like counterintuitive. The point being is if it's fragile, it breaks in small ways early. What would you rather have? A log to walk across a creek on that may break at any time, catastrophically all at once, or a bundle of many, many branches where one can break without the whole bridge breaking, but you now know that you have a problem. And that's really what this is about. Let's find small problems faster. And so amplification is trying to draw the right attention to small problems earlier, make them obvious so we can deal with them. The last thing I'll say with it from a design standpoint is know what your anchor is from a mechanism standpoint. What I mean by that is what's sort of the center of the universe of your management system? What's the spine of your management system? You know, for me, it's my Trello board and my weekly team meeting. Those two things, if I want to make a change to my focus, I have to look at those two places first. And that's really what we want to know what our anchor is. It's the last thing we would remove. It's the first thing that we would leverage in order to signal something new is important. It's not the only aspect of our management system, but it probably is the most important. So to repeat what I said earlier, have your own design principles. What matters to you as you think about designing and improving your management system? But hopefully my list provides a starter for you to build upon.